What'd you do with your week, man?
Why don't you go first?
Why don't I go first? Okay. I didn't play all that much video games this week. I mainly took a look at a new TV show that is sweeping the nation. Woolie, have you ever read a woman's romance novel?
I have not read Beastars.
Okay. So, I gotta ask, what is up? Women who are listening to this podcast, I'm sure there's at least two of you. What is up with, what if that monster man just fucked me and I died? Or almost died, but what if the monster fucked me? What's up with this?
Oh, we go in Harlequin romance, front of the Pharma Pre.
There's a word
CVS.
for this. It's called ravishment.
Twilight.
Yes, Twilight.
I can't resist.
So guess what Beastars totally literally is? It's just Twilight.
Oh.
But not satisfied that the Westerners were getting all the furry shit.
Okay.
I want to say her name is Itagaki. I had her up here. Itagaki Paru was like, no, Japan's fucked up and creepy. We can do this.
His obsession is not creepy if he's hot.
Well, there's been a tweet that Paige and I have been laughing about for about 2 weeks now, which is a morally gray character is a character who commits crimes but is hot. That's how you know they're morally gray.
Right.
Beastars is a high school drama.
Is it?
Yes, about a young wolf man named Lugosi and a young rabbit woman named Haru.
Yeah, I went to pull up some shit up, and before I even get to a trailer or an intro, the first thing I get is a pairing video.
Yes.
So
as they live in a animal kingdom that is totally has nothing to do with Zootopia at all, between the carnivores and the herbivores, in which they exist in a bizarre teetering society in which carnivores still want to eat people.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, don't eat us, man. A burgeoning romance between this giant, powerful, lithe wolf man who desperately wants to devour this tiny rabbit, but also loves her. Maybe. Etc.
Not Zootopia?
No.
Okay.
And it's like, oh man, my animal instincts want me to just tear you limb from limb. But no. Feelings. So, I don't know what's up with that. Chicks apparently dig that shit really bad.
Is this the kind of world where, like, a wolf and a rabbit can successfully mate?
We're gonna... Oh, anything can fuck anything. But...
Successfully.
Well, yeah. And there's... So, before I continue onwards, despite the fact that I'm starting up with, what's up with chicks wanting to get fucked to death by monsters? Shrug. Beastars is fucking great.
Okay.
Beastars is fucking great.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume there's a little thrill for the people out there that identify with that particular facet. But after that, it is a exciting, dramatic, twisty-turny, fucking romantic/dramatic story that has all sorts of shit in it that I wasn't expecting to see. Is way more explicitly violent and sexually explicit than I would have expected.
Okay.
Some wipeouts in Beastar.
Some wipeouts?
People are getting wiped out.
Huge wipeouts.
Huge wipeouts.
Okay.
I
mean, the name of this show is simultaneously the greatest and most infuriating thing. So, there's that, I suppose.
Beastars makes way more sense when they tell you what the Beastar is.
Sure, but either way, it's a combination of the word beast and star.
It is.
Which, if you were in grade 7, you would think is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. We also there's a high school drama with
Gangstar.
with a focus on a love story, love triangle, all sorts of shit. But underneath it is a really fascinating setting in which it's like, hey, Lugosi, what are you eating? Oh, I'm eating my egg sandwiches so I can get my protein, because you're not allowed to eat fucking meat at the school because your friends are made of meat.
Yeah.
Bad to do.
Yeah.
But there is that one part of town you can go to.
Okay.
If you like.
So it goes into the logistics that an Animal World doesn't go into.
It goes super deep into the logistics.
Because an Animal World with carnivores is not going to make...
is a inherently unstable one.
The cow that's working at a butcher shop doesn't make a ton of sense.
There's the very first thing that happens, and if you saw the preview for it, the very first thing that happens is a schoolmate gets fucking eaten at school. And nobody knows who did it. And an alpaca gets fucking eaten in the theater room.
Okay.
Dead. And that's the backdrop. And people are scared of carnivores, and there's a lot of weird drama with the fucking, the rabbits are shitheads, and they're picking on the other rabbits because this rabbit is pure white, and they're the Harlequin pieces of shit with the split.
Yeah.
So on top of the carnivore herbivore, like,
they're gonna
split.
Die if they don't eat meat.
No, they won't die. You can get your protein. In fact, there's an entire sub-story dedicated to a chicken who is clearly the author self-insert, because the author, Itagaki-san, almost always wears a chicken head around because she wants to stay as anonymous as possible, because she is the daughter of the writer of Grappler Becky, and did not want to be known as herself until her work became for real.
Nick Cage.
Who's Nick Cage's dad?
Nick Cage?
Yeah.
His real last name is Coppola.
Oh, all right. Well, that explains a lot. Oh, man.
Or
okay.
Something to that effect, yeah.
But guess what? She nailed it, because Beastars is great. So, there's that. But then there's also just constant genius animal shit. Just characters are acting with their own character traits, obviously, but every now and then you will see a little mannerism and or attitude that you go, oh, I'm so stupid, of course, because they're whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the non-spoilerist one there's two that I can think of that are both not spoilers, that are just like, they pop, is at some point somebody's pal ends up being a scumbag and is like, oh, hey, you know what we talked about? Yeah, I'll totally do it. And it's a fucking weasel. Because of course it is.
Yeah.
Because of course it's a fucking
So it's not
weasel.
just a romance story then?
No, there's a lot going on.
Interesting, okay.
Your primary plot is romance.
Yeah.
And your B side is society is weird in this setting. And then another one in which something that at first appears to be somebody like romantically coming on to somebody, like by pushing them down and being like over them and being like, hey, look at these titties. You're actually like, oh, no, this isn't romantic. This is a dog showing dominance over a different animal. Because that's how dogs show dominance.
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing, right? So you can sort of create humanoid mannerisms because they're anthropomorphized.
Yeah.
But then you pick and choose the animal traits that can reveal themselves and therefore create like a first impression, and then actually...
And then you have characters that are...
This is the animal
their
trait.
Entire personality is the opposite of the animal you would associate them with.
Yes.
And then that gets played off by other characters who are like, that's weird. You don't act like a deer. You're actually kind of a badass, Lewis. What's up with that?
Right.
et cetera, et
Because you got
cetera.
to overcompensate for what you are.
Yes.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's really, 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 really cool. And it was very... It was really, really, really weird to see a romance story between the shy guy and the girl who fucks around constantly. That is not how I thought that was going to go.
Well, she's a rabbit, right?
Yeah, but not all rabbits are like that. But this rabbit is.
Yeah, but rabbits, though.
Yeah.
So, they fuck like rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show is great.
Do they touch on the logistics?
There's a lot. Yeah. They show the logistics
Wow.
to a degree.
This is on Netflix.
Yeah, not yet. It's being held back until March 13th.
Okay, so you're in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, well, they obviously...
there's a line of dialogue that's like, "Wow, I never did it with a carnivore before. Hope this shit goes off."
Now, what's the ruling on, like...
Wolf rabbit shit.
Well, no, because National Geographic
Yeah.
and Discovery Channel, it's like, yeah, that's just nature, right? But then porn's porn,
Yeah.
so...
There's a really, really funny throwaway single line of dialogue that like codifies like a massive part of what's going on, in which an adult says, "Maybe you just got a really fucked up fetish, bro," and hands him a magazine. And then
Okay.
you're like, "Oh, okay, fine."
So if we're
This
watching...
totally goes on, but it's like, oh my god, that's
So-
super gross, bro.
If we're watching nature footage, right, like Planet Earth,
Yeah,
of like a horny wolf
that's right.
that's just running around full heat,
Yeah.
right?
Got the knot ready to trot.
And hey, wow, you had that ready to go.
I didn't. I invented that 10 seconds ago.
Well, it rhymed.
Thank you.
Bars.
Yes. I'm now a rapper.
So, if you take that nature footage and put a suit on the wolf,
Yes.
do we now
Get
have
episode 1 of Beastars.
to mosaic the lipstick?
Maybe.
Do we have to blur it out?
Maybe.
Is it no longer nature footage?
I don't know, man.
What are we doing here? Okay, if I rotoscope
I do.
the wolf,
I don't know what to tell you.
is that now dirty?
I don't know what to tell you.
I put a suit on the wolf and I rotoscoped it, but it's still just nature footage.
Here's the deal, though, right?
What are we doing?
So here's the deal for you. This show is, first of all, Beastars. I don't know how popular the manga is. It must be really popular.
Yeah, I've heard of it as a manga before
'Cause
this anime.
This anime got fucking cash to make it. It is fucking gorgeous. It's a 3D model / rotoscope
Yeah.
/ mixed media.
Yeah, the intro had claymation.
Yeah. It will occasionally go with like it reminds me almost of like the bits of Mob Psycho, where it'll just hey, this one's painted.
Yeah.
This scene's painted for some reason.
Yeah, again, before the adaptation, I feel like I've been hearing about this book.
It's fucking gorgeous, and as a result, I spoke with actually Paige spoke with Eli, because Eli read it all. Mr. Plague of Gripes is up to date with the latest chapter of Beastars, shocking no one. But I think he described it as the artist is not a very good drawer, and so the anime is just beautiful by comparison.
Attack on Titan, I think, had that same
Yeah,
problem.
Attack on Titan definitely has that. But this is going for the absolute limit you could possibly go for of that's clearly a deer man. It also happens to be a fucking hot deer man.
But
Like, you know the dangerously cheesy chart of furriness?
yes,
It's almost the way to whole animal.
that's what I was going to point out, which is probably the most interesting aspect of this, is in looking at the art from it, I noticed that that's not a human being with deer antlers.
No. That's a deer, man.
And it's not a girl with bunny ears sticking out.
No.
It's an actual animal-headed thing.
Yes.
Which I got to applaud that. Commit to it if you're
and
going
like
for it.
mostly animal features.
Yeah.
I think the only time that I got brought out of it at any point was there's a sequence in which Lewis the deer picks up something and you see that he has totally normal looking human hands that are like gold, and I'm like, that's really weird. Meanwhile, when you look at Lugosi, he has giant, he's a werewolf. He's a fucking werewolf.
I mean, there's the shot of the fucking deer that pulls the hoofs off and has the full hands underneath it. But I actually, like, no, I super duper respect that, because it's like, no, we're not going for the, like, I just want to make a cute human that you're gonna like, but also get away with giving them slightly
Haru's a
animalistic
fucking
traits.
rabbit, dude.
Yeah, you fucking went for it.
That bitch is a rabbit.
Totally. And I'm like, yep, commit. Don't just make it a hot person because you want to maximize that appeal.
And it's just constantly going back to like this it's this fun thing where you ever watch something or read something and the setting is confusing. Like there are massive holes in your understanding of the setting.
Tons of stories start that way.
Every time you get a single detail, you're like, "Oh, cool." So there's a little tiny scene where Lugosi's reading a book. He's just chilling, right? But he happens to be in the wolf room hanging out with the other wolves, which is painted like the night sky with a disco ball that's been made into a moon to make them feel more comfortable, I guess. And when he walks to that room, he walks by the cat room and the deer room and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to, what is it? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you can infer lots of fun ideas when you have to mix modern contrivances and conveniences with the animal kingdom.
And so that's why you get a little side story about a chicken being very proud of her eggs. Why? Well, carnivores gotta get protein.
Yeah.
And if they don't get protein from egg sandwiches, they're gonna get their fucking protein.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's this nice little thing of like, oh, what a cute little story that causes their society to not collapse into like race riots and devouring. That thing's great. I'm probably gonna read it because I need to know what happens after the end of that first season.
So
that shit is great.
Zootopia plus Twilight equals success.
No, Zootopia plus Twilight plus the dramatic action scenes of GTO.
Whoa.
Equals success.
Specifically that type of scene.
It's like, remember when GTO popped off, it suddenly became a completely different show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a couple sequences in which you're like, this is you expect Wolfman Kiryu to be in the background,
right,
during the sub-story.
Pervin on teenagers, but it's a man you can trust.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's fantastic. I would recommend it to everybody. Japan is about to get swept with furry. It's very inevitable now. It can't be stopped. To our furry friends out there, you will soon have an entire new country's worth of artists to rely upon for your creepy sex shit.
And by furry
friends, doing a thumbs up for the audio people.
By furry friends, you mean furry overlords. I, for one, embrace.
Listen, if they keep if they keep putting out content like this, that's okay.
I can direct you towards the finest yiffing pits to.
Pit, man?
I mean,
the pit.
All right, look. Old memes are old. But that's cool.
You should get on that immediately. Like, as soon as it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, there was I want to say it was about the start of this new year, basically.
Why all the noise about Beastars
that
being
suddenly
made now.
A push started happening on all social media fronts, talking about Beastars, and I was like, "What is this terrible name? Please, dear God, tell me what this has to. Does this have to do with the Monstars? Does this have to do with the Gang Stars? What does this have to do with? And then it turns out, no, it's its own other thing. It just happens to follow this naming convention which like kills me inside.
And now I'm going to take a moment for those of you who are listening to this podcast may not be convinced because, well, romances are for girls. Shut up! That's stupid. You know what's the most not endearing, what's the word I'm thinking of? Exciting or like
Charming?
Investing or whatever, charming or thing that a story can do to you when you empathize with a character and you can empathize with their teenage self or whatever, and you go, oh, I see a little bit of myself in there, and then something in your romantic subplot happens that makes you go, oh no, oh no, oh no,
Yeah.
like over and like.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like you're yelling at no one.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
maybe I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah, that thought was gone.
Yeah, maybe, but
Like,
when
dude,
are we going to get Beastars for boys?
But like we were, I was a part of excited discussions of Karashi Kanojo back in college, and
I don't know
or
what that is.
whatever it was an Anno directed series after Ava that was just a straight up like lovey-dovey high school tale.
Oh, that's very different.
And then there was the hijinks of School Rumble,
Yeah.
which I also was a part of conversations of, and you're just like, okay, romance story. What are
My
we doing?
favorite episode of GTO is when Asuka and Shinji make it work. In the caves on the island. Oh, you don't remember that?
Were their names actually
They
Asuka
weren't.
and Shinji?
But they
what are you
weren't
talking about?
actually Asuka and Shinji, but they were like identical designs to those
Because my
characters.
brain was like, hold on, were there characters with those names?
They weren't named that. But
The
it was
fuck?
the bitchy domineering redhead and the total puke
Yeah,
shithead.
fine, sure.
And they got lost in that water cave. And they had to make it through. And
Was
it was
it Murai? What was his name? I forget
I
his
don't
name.
fucking know anyone's name in fucking GTO.
Okay, well, anyway.
I still look back and think about the live action version where GTO was going to run over that family with a truck in like the second episode.
Yeah.
And then he swerved and almost died.
Yeah, but then he marries Fuyutsuki.
Does he marry her in the live action?
I want to say they couple up,
They do couple up.
whereas it doesn't necessarily happen in the anime.
No, in the anime he moves to America,
Yeah.
which would have been an awesome show that we never got.
Onizuka, 22 years old. Nice to meet you.
To people asking what GTO is,
Great teacher Onizuka.
it is a story about a piece of shit former gang member that somehow becomes a high school teacher,
Yeah.
and despite his lack of educational knowledge, will use his gumption and pureness of heart to help those kids get through their lives. God damn it.
You ever read Shonan Junai Gumi?
I have not.
Okay. It's about the biker years,
Oh, yeah.
where him and his biker buddy,
I'll just bikering it up.
they're just bikering it up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Kunio shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yes, everybody go watch and then read Beastars. It's good. It will make you feel things.
Or we're doing like fucking 20-year-old plugs for GTO.
Also watch GTO.
Check out
There's-
that. At the very least, watch that intro with porno graffiti, Driver's
good.
High, and appreciate that animation.
GTO is crazy because it was a manga that was great, that got turned into an anime that was great, that got turned into a live action show that was great.
That got turned into a Korean live action show again.
Get out!
Yep.
Seriously?
Korean GTO happened.
Was it good?
Apparently, it was really good.
The formula works.
Yep. Just try to ignore the part where the show starts and he's under the stairs looking up at the skirts of high school girls going to class. Just try not to think too hard about that. And try not to think too hard about the part where he goes to that, like in the pilot episode, he helps the girl and then he gets the panties.
Yeah.
Try not to think too hard about it.
Well, it was always fun going through the different versions where each version, as it becomes more real or animated, goes softer than the last one.
Yes.
So, like, I watched the live action first.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was the bitchy genius girl that only shows up in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, she's all right. And then I watched the anime, and she's, first of all, she dyes her hair blonde. But the first thing she does is light another student's hair on fire.
Right.
By throwing a lighter at her.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, you got toned the fuck down.
Yeah. It's just that because it's toned down, though, you get, like, the toned down intro. You get Poison replacing fucking Driver's High.
Mm-hmm.
You get no suplexes.
No suplex. But a really cool kick, though.
Yeah.
I do like the kick.
And then you eventually get a suplex.
Eventually.
Way down the line, not even in the show, in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
The live action movie that comes afterwards, you finally get one.
I really like the big the motorcycle stunt they did for the live action movie. I thought it was cool.
So when you calm the story down, you have to make concessions. It is what it is. It is what it is. And yeah, it's an iconic ass fucking suplex. He does the bridge, and then if I'm not mistaken, the old lady principal or vice principal, whatever, the one who makes the shots, comes down and actually like takes a seat. It's like, sturdy.
I gotta fucking this.
Anyway,
talking about Beastars and then talking about GTO and the combination of suplexing and animals makes me think, should I watch Nichijou?
I don't know.
The principal suplexes a deer.
Oh yeah. Or you can play Beastarizer.
I could play Beastarizer. Well, that's a unanimous yes by our chat. Maybe I should take a look at Nichijou.
Okay.
All right.